One more?
Sure.
Oh, holy. We often talk about the clock speed trap, where we manage time as a resource to be depleted rather than a medium to be mastered. When did you first realize that our modern definition of time efficiency was fundamentally broken?
When I left Germany. No, but I think it's really funny that efficiency in Germany for me is very associated, it's maybe unfair, but the first move I made was to Italy, and I remember in Italy a lot of time is spent discussing, chatting, that to me at that time felt very inefficient. And I realized actually a lot of alignment, cultural sync and trust was built in all of these conversations. And then the work is so much more effective. So that was the first time I sort of really reflected on that my perception of how time is spent is not proportionate to what actually happens here, because it was a culture that I wasn't tuned to. I mean, we all know that Italians have a tendency to not be sort of sharp on time, so we had a laugh about that and it was hilarious sometimes. But then moving to the UK, I realized in that culture, time is spent very different again, and how you sort of value your time is different. So in the UK, it was a lot about working late and being seen. I remember that I had one colleague, he had a picture of his family on his desk. That's the only way to know that he has a family. And that for me was very okay. We're sort of putting a lot of value on the sort of presence and sort of visibly working. They didn't come super early in the morning. They took breaks, and I mean, you know, but it was like a different way of appreciating time. And then coming to Sweden, it's like a whole different thing. It wasn't about efficiency, getting as much done as possible, or working as long as possible. There it was like, you know what, my kids are coming for lunch, I better get this done. Yeah. Or can we collectively sort of really make sure we're all on the same page, which can be frustrating, consensus. But then when everybody's on the same page, it's like, wow, now it's so much more effective. So I don't think there's a right way, but just acknowledging the difference is really important for us now working more globally and trying to change. It's important to sort of see where are we coming from. What about you? When did you first time click?
I think that, you know, efficiency is a trap in itself, right? Because you try to do something faster, but there are two ways. One is when you work long doesn't necessarily mean you get to an answer. Many people had the moment where they worked on something for 6 hours late at night because they feel like they need to get it done. They have one good night's sleep, and in the morning you throw away 50 pages of the stuff that you did, and you write one page that's very concise and crisp. Just spending more time on something is not a way that shows you the moment. The other thing is with efficiency and time efficiency specifically, when you're done, there's always another task, right? So it's not like there's an end to it. So it's about, you know, finding yourself, like, okay, you still need to define the work that you do and then be more deliberate around how much time you spend on something. That's not about efficiency per se, but, you know, doing efficiently what shouldn't have been done at all is the worst thing you can do in life. So that basically bringing that together, right? I think that's the piece. And for sure in professional services, you often have the feeling that just working more is the right way to do, but taking that step back and reflecting on whether this should be done at all and then talking to the human, I think is key. And still, it's something that almost on a daily basis, at least on a weekly basis, you fall into the trap again. Like, hey, how can I use AI now to get even more ideas out or more emails written or more stuff done? And then you think about me sending more stuff in my role also means there are more people having to do more work. So me sending an email is, you know, I'm putting a to-do list from my work to somebody else. Yeah. And then basically also acknowledging, I think as leaders, then the control mechanism to say, hey, is this actually worth somebody's time? It's something that we haven't done. And I'm not doing it all the time. I'm trying to more consciously now, not the least since we started the Institute, but I think the whole reason why we started the Institute is that realization.
And I mean, especially with AI now, I had a slide once that was like, if you're speeding up, you better make sure you move in the right direction. Yep. And that is true for us individually, as leaders, and probably even as a society.
Exactly. It's like with curling. When you do the super thing, you make sure that thing goes in the right direction. Yeah.